Damn.
Hot damn. Coming to you from Level 9 Studios, Las Vegas, Nevada. The Professors. We ain't crazy. We're licensed.
Bitch, we're licensed.
And we're crazy.
I'm Dr. Mark Brana. With me, as always, Shamika Green and Casey Casillas-Nichols.
Holla, holla, holla. I'm on one today. I'm in a better mood than last time. I'll say that.
You're on fire last time.
Listen, this week was the week that I had to talk to everybody about that. Like, listen, you're going to hear this podcast and I'm going to be upset. It's not you, it's me. I did a lot of that this week.
Well, prepare to do more of that later.
Go ahead and get it out now.
Oh, Lord.
So, thank you for everybody who's been listening and downloading us. We are up on YouTube. We are on Spotify, Apple, and pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts.
That's right. All three of you.
Yo, don't hate on the three of them. It's Trey.
So before we get into our main topic of crazy relatives, one of the listeners had requested, or actually asked a question of our thoughts on gentle parenting. Should I mansplain that or...
Don't you fucking dare if you value your legs. How about you just explain it to everyone and then Shamiki and I will comment.
Yes.
Okay.
Did I say Shamiki? I said Shamika. I said Shamika. I'm going to use that for something else.
So, for our listeners that don't know what gentle parenting is, basically it's a form of authoritative parenting where there's a balance of structure and emotional feedback, but it's more focused on positive reinforcements and less on punishment.
Okay. Boy,
so much cultural shit goes into this right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I read it and I literally cringed. Like,
so the person who asked the question had wanted to know our thoughts both as parents and as professionals. You guys can go first.
Shit. Okay. So I read about it this morning and that is definitely how I wasn't raised at all.
Mm-hmm.
I wish a motherfucker would give me some positive reinforcement, like for real.
Some fucking gentle parenting.
Yeah, like it's not my bag. And not to say it's wrong or I'm against it. It's not my bag. And I say that because I was raised a certain way. I took what I wanted from my parents and I left the shit that I didn't want from my parents for there. Mm-hmm. I did learn one thing in grad school, and that's what I took and went with it. And it was, I don't know, like child development. I'm not sure if you guys had to take it for sure. You might have as well. And the professor in that class said, you got to let your kids be themselves. You got to allow them to express themselves, like visually, mentally, just allow them to be them. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to let the twins punk me in the store and think they're going to scream and yell and I'm not going to flash.
You, Mom.
Yeah. Oh, I wish NMF would. But side note, I got a Christmas present from them yesterday or this week and it said to Mom and Dad from Jasper.
Seriously.
Tears. Yeah. And I didn't tell you guys this, but their name is going to be on the Jumbotron at T-Mobile.
Shut up.
Yeah, for their 10th birthday.
You fucking dope.
So this is what I'm saying, because the twins are not my biological children. And I took what I did with my older two children, left the bad shit behind, and then just did what I did. I'm very strict.
Yeah.
I'm very strict. I give the kids boundaries and I allow them to do and say how they feel, but you're not going to win certain shit. Like there's just certain things that it's a no-go for me, boss.
Yeah.
What about you, Shamika?
Well, I was reading on it a little bit and the mom is a Brit. She's an author. And I
Mhm.
guess she has some background in biology, but there is no real like research that kind of backs this,
Mhm.
Mhm.
the gentle parenting itself. But I did like some aspects of it, of like empathy and understanding. And so that stuff, but it was kind of saying there's consequences, but
Right.
lightly, but I guess we have to understand that even with kids, there's consequences because you know that when you're in the real world,
Mhm.
there are consequences.
Yeah.
And so I would take some of that, like Casey was saying, with, modeling from your own parents, taking some of that and then also some new shit and implement it, because you got to do what works for you.
Right.
Because we're talking about different cultures, economic backgrounds, all that, And so, no, you're not going to be in the kid in the grocery store kicking and acting crazy, but...
No, the fuck you're not.
But outside the grocery store is a different story.
I'm on your ass.
Mhm. There's so many memes
Yeah.
about Hispanic parents, Black parents. Let's be real. I know you know what I'm talking about.
I will tell you that Black moms have the best lines I have ever heard in my life.
You got
Okay?
some fucking McDonald's money.
I was going
Let's
through a
say
store.
Shamika has said that once or twice
At least once.
in her lifetime.
I was going through a store and this lady's kid was acting a fool. And all I hear from her is, you're campaigning for an ass whooping and you're winning the election.
Not the champagne for the campaign.
Oh, shit.
I was like, that is fucking great.
Yo, you get,
You're going to win this election.
yeah. You get the Mexican grandma, like my granny, just give me the look and know full well she's going to hit me with that brush.
Yeah.
I know it. Granny, if you hear me, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, but I agree with Shamika. Taking the parts of it that actually work for you is important. But I don't think as a whole it's the only way that you need to parent your kids, because you need some variety. Because kids
Yes.
adapt and smart kids adapt, and
Mhm.
you need to keep changing some of the things to keep them on their toes. Otherwise, they're going to know how to work the system, and kids are very good at that.
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
If a person gets good enough, everybody is going to be able to work the system, no
Right.
matter the age. So,
Yeah. So that leads us in, I think, unless Shamika wanted to say more.
No, I was just thinking about when I said, do you got some McDonald's money? And I remember with my son, who's 15 now, when he got his first job and he was treating me somewhere and he was like, do you got some McDonald's money?
I know. He probably felt so good saying that
Felt
shit
liberated.
Too. Yeah.
I was like, mother. No.
If you ask for something extra, like a large drink,
Right.
you gonna pay for the difference of that shit?
You
Okay.
want cheese, bitch? Fuck you think you are?
We got food at home, Mom.
Right.
Hit you with that.
Tell you what, my 6-year-old is on that track because she is all over like that stuff. The other day, so my sister had sent birthday money to
Okay.
her. And the other day she goes, Dad, did you go to the bank get my birthday money yet?
I want my fucking money.
The envelope's a little light, bro, this week.
She did the Rihanna. Bitch better have my money. Pay me what you owe me.
So I think we can all agree with the gentle parenting. It's going to be up to the parent. It's going to be up to their style, their culture, their
Absolutely.
background.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
Yeah. It just goes down to really just taking what works and understanding kids need structure. They need discipline. You don't have to beat them, but
Right.
sometimes they have to fear it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Parenting is a trial and error too. So
yeah.
give yourself grace and patience.
Kids don't come with instruction manuals.
No, that shit.
I'm sure my parents said that shit about me when I came through. What's up? I'm here. Surprise. Everybody knows the surprise. So let's move on.
All right.
Let's move on.
So crazy relatives. Where do we want to start with this?
What was the background of this topic? Did the writer say something with this, or just said?
I don't think this topic came from anyone that I read. I think that came from someone you read.
Did it? Was it one of my cousins? Because I'm down to like 2, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Let's talk about it then.
Well, let's go. Because I think we all have the relatives that we look at that are like different, crazy, whatever you want to say. And I know clients I have, and I'm sure clients you guys work with, struggle to navigate those relationships. And people are kind of stuck sometimes in this idea that, oh, we're family, so we always have to communicate or be intertwined.
Right.
And that's not always the case.
Yeah, family is the biggest, can be habitual line steppers.
Fuck your
Tap
couch.
toe all on your shit. Okay. They push your buttons.
Tell us about it. Speak on it.
Listen, like I said, I'm down to 2 cousins and a sister. But no, seriously, again, I felt like, at least for me and my family system, I had to learn boundaries when I knew better, because there was a lot of shit that was going on within my family that I didn't agree with. And of course, as a marriage and family therapist, we talk about the family system. And if you push back on the system, it fights back hard. And so when you do something different, they don't like it. And you become like an outcast. And so I had to learn what my boundaries look like, because my family was tap-toeing all on that shit. They was
Sammy Davis Jr.ing all over
I'm
it.
talking about, hello, bitch.
Bojangles. Bojangles.
Fuck you. They were like, fuck your couch. Like, they didn't care. So.
What about you, Mark?
So for me, I think my upbringing was a little bit different, because I think we were the crazy relatives in my family, to be honest.
Okay.
We grew up isolated. Like my dad was in the Air Force, so we got stationed up in North Dakota, Minnesota area. And the rest of the family was on the East Coast. And we almost never saw them. The only thing I knew about my cousins, and everything was what I heard from either my grandparents or my parents. And, that left quite a perception of who they were compared to who we were. Because, you only hear the good stuff.
Yeah.
So I grew up thinking, I'm like, oh, we're the shit. We suck, because we just didn't have a lot of interaction with the family. And my parents are kind of like that. They just don't interact with people. Even today, nowadays, if I want to hear from them, I have to call them, because they just don't call. They don't do anything. So,
how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's what was normal for me growing up, because I didn't know any different. I actually, until I started hanging out with like friends and everything, and their families would come around, or they'd hang out with their cousins, I was like, your cousins come and visit? Huh. But where I grew up, most of the families lived within 50 miles, so it was easy to chalk it up too they live close,
Yeah.
So I mean, it wasn't until I think probably after my grandfather on my mom's side had died that it was started to keeping in closer touch with the rest of the family, and just kind of learning that some of the perceptions I had about our family and everything is different. We weren't I was a good kid, but we weren't always the greatest family.
I'm taking a deep breath in, because I don't believe you.
Subjective. Yeah.
I was
Wrong.
You were the kid in the grocery store, weren't you?
Yeah.
Never in the grocery store. Yeah, my siblings right now are probably going, who the fuck is he talking about?
bitch, I'm right. I'm normal. What are you talking about? This is one of those topics where I had to mentally prepare. Like, what am I gonna dance around? What am I gonna speak on? All that. I will. My background is very colorful, right?
Okay.
I'll leave that very colorful. I love my family to death. Some of them.
We kissing ass now.
Merry Christmas. No, I want to say as an adult, looking back, my cousins on both sides of my family, my mom's side and my dad's side, were extremely close. Like they're almost, I have all sisters and a brother. And sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. But we grew up together. Like we were so close. We were with each. I mean, I lived in a Mexican family, right? So we're getting together every weekend. My dad's taking me to the beach. We're always having a family get together. I mean, it's a Mexican family, so we're always close. But seeing my cousins now, and we, one of my cousins, Elise, started having this, like, we should have a cousins get together all the time. And it wasn't until then where I saw that I thought like I was always the black sheep and I was always whatever, but then talking to them when they're grown-ups, like everybody had their own shit. So I can't sit here and say I can own my own. I was crazy, but they were, you know what I mean? They all had their same thing. And excuse me, I will say like a lot of us, like my one of my cousins passed away. His wife passed away. I think I told you guys this summer. And we're like, everybody's there for each other. Like that circle net is there. But that's, I think what's difficult for me to navigate is when a family member is going through like deep, deep grief or stuff like that. It's shit that I've already done, right? I've done it as a kid because my mom passed away when I was extremely young. Sorry, I was like 21. But
still pretty young.
Yeah. For looking back now, they'd be like, if I passed away now and my son was, what the hell? So it's, I find it difficult to interact because I know what that feels like as a person, as a therapist. I know that there isn't anything I can do or say that's going to make it better.
Right.
You know what I mean? And sometimes I think people think I come off as not caring, but I do care and I do reach out, but there's nothing, there's absolutely nothing I can do or say. And that's the sucky part about being a therapist and being close with family and like, crazy. I'll just say whatever comes up in a family, environment, it just sucks. You guys have any experience with? What about you guys?
You want to go?
I just kind of want to piggyback though off what you said because I think things really change when you are a therapist and you are within a family unit too, because you can't unsee some shit. And so a lot of times you see things with a different perspective. And so you may choose to step back or, kind of engage only in certain things, at least for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, no, this shit is not healthy or I don't want to be the rescuer. And it doesn't mean that I don't care, but I can't do shit to fix it, quote unquote.
Yes.
And you know that I love you, but I think before I knew what I knew, those boundaries were so fluid. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so, like I said, you can't unsee some shit. And so you kind of treat every family member accordingly because you know differently.
Absolutely.
When you know better, you do better.
Yep.
So you guys had talked about trampling boundaries and how family can do that. I'm interested in how do you guys set boundaries with family members that like to trample them?
I just said it. And I want to say, I think I set, with two family members, I set a boundary a little post grad school. Right. Okay. So I got that that education of, and just, did you know that my minor was in marriage and family therapy?
No. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I know, but I went the other way. That's what she said. Anyways, the Reds is working. I already forgot what I was going to say. Skip me.
Skip me. Phone a friend.
Shamika Green.
Calling Shamika.
I say, ain't nothing to cut that bitch off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I changed my phone number. I guess you guys remember that when I sent out the text, like, don't give my shit to nobody.
Yeah.
Because I had to. And the reason why is because once I had realized I had high blood pressure, and it was like a cause of me being so enmeshed in one of my family members' shit, I was like, this is not healthy, and I'm not gonna do it. And so, although it hurts to grieve the loss of the relationship, it's necessary. And so, yeah, I cut a motherfucker off in a minute.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Everybody's
'Cause
getting
I-
tomahawked.
Yeah, no,
Everybody.
because I have to.
Absolutely.
And then those that love on me and I love on them, I'm okay with it.
Mhm.
And then those that I somewhat have a relationship with, I have boundaries of how much I engage with you. Because before I would force myself to go to Thanksgiving dinners or, parties, and I was not having a fucking good time
yeah.
because they was taptoeing all over my shit, my feelings. They talk about you behind your back and all that shit. And then finally I was like, fuck that.
No.
I got my own family.
Yeah.
You make your own family.
Absolutely. I know that's right. I want to go off of what Shamika said because the boundaries, the stricter boundaries I put on those two family members are probably the closer relationships I have right now based
Right.
off of those boundaries. You know what I mean? It gave them an opportunity to know that you're going to fuck around and find out.
Mhm.
And you found out. But then it also allowed me to grow as a person myself to sit there and say, if they came at me, hey Casey, I want to talk to you about this, and this, I'll hear it. If you don't come at me sideways, I'm not going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
But if you approach me in a respectful way, I'm going to sit there and fuck with you and see what you have to say. And I can gladly say that I sat there and took my licks too, because I know that I probably wasn't the best and I probably could have communicated a shit ton better, whatever. I'm going to own
Yes.
my part in that because it's not just one person. It's in this particular case.
Right.
Yeah.
In this
Self-reflection.
Yes, because I don't want to sit here and say everybody that sets boundaries, they're the problem too. But in this case, I will absolutely own that I was an asshole. I'll own that. But now I can reflect back and know that I did the right thing for my family and my children and set the example that you don't have to put up with shit.
Right.
If you're a child, if you're a teenager, if you're a young parent, if you're an older parent, it doesn't matter. A boundary is a boundary and you're going to respect me.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Well, and I think you bring up a good point because that's really the boundaries aren't just set because the other person is a problem. There's an identified problem between both where the boundary is just necessary because one person is feeling, violated in a certain way and the other person a lot of times doesn't seem to realize they're doing that because they've just been allowed to behave in this way for a long time. And it's hard if you've been enmeshed with people to do that, to set a new boundary. And then the reaction is almost never a positive one initially, because things have changed. And everybody has different points that they like to set, that they set boundaries with people at. And I'm curious, with family, where is that line in the sand where you're like, all right, motherfucker, you ain't crossing this line anymore. Like for me, it's my kids. Like if somebody's coming at my kids, we're done. We're done. I don't give a shit who you are. But I'm curious, because I guess maybe it's one of the advantages of having grown up so isolated, even though I'm communicating with other family members and I'm developing relationships. I don't really have a problem if I don't speak to these people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I love you guys. You're all cool and everything, but
Now
Don't
who's
jump
the
on-
kiss ass
Right.
motherfucker?
but you know,
Brown
it's like
nose.
it's not the same level of enmeshment where it's like I know I'll be okay if I don't hear from these people. You know, and I guess when that doesn't happen, like how do people know where that line is?
That's an easy one for me. Super easy. If you're not consistent, it's a wrap.
Mm.
If you're in consistency, meaning if I'm going to be calling you, and I get it, we're adults. Sometimes we. Yo, you have a beautiful voice. Do you know that?
Thank you.
But yeah, it's consistency. I don't play that shit across the board. You're either gonna fuck around with me and my family or you're not. But I don't
Mhm.
need people coming in and out and then my kids forgetting, oh, who is that again? Oh, I forgot I had that family member in my
Right.
life. Or I
Mhm.
forgot. No, it's done. Like that, and that's it. Like you have to be consistent. I don't like that. I don't like the in and out, 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm gonna fuck with you sometimes at the family
Yes.
get-togethers that I'm not
Mhm.
wanting to go to anyways or whatever. But I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So that's a straight up. I could tell you right now.
Yeah. That's good shit.
What about you?
Well, I had to learn the hard way because I think I went through like a period of depression and loss because of separation of family members. But I learned in therapy, I was making more withdrawal than deposits where they
Mhm.
were. And I remember my therapist was like, what's the cost of the membership of you being in this family? And I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? And that meant that I had to take your shit. I had to do these
Mhm.
things and you were not giving me anything.
Yeah.
And then I had to take off the glasses and be like, no, I got to see the shit for what it really is. I
Mhm.
thought we're tight, but in reality, it's just what I can do for you that makes it that way. And you're not doing shit. And so when I start to see that, is very clear and concrete to me that I'm not entertaining this.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What about you, Mark? Shamika ended that on a strong tip. What you got for us?
I mean, how do you follow that? That's
Well, it makes me think about, because I'm so big on documentaries, just yesterday, I finished the documentary on Prince Harry and Meghan. And I was like,
How was that?
damn, it was really good.
Was it?
Really, really good. And so I'm like, man, if Prince Harry can leave his royal family, you can leave your
Mhm.
auntie in Alabama. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
can set some boundaries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that is a perfect example of somebody who set boundaries. And look, he had a lot of backlash and a lot to lose, but he knew what he didn't want for his family. And I
Mhm.
respect that.
Yo, I respect anybody that's going to be down for his wife. I don't care
Yeah.
what anybody says to me right now. I don't care if there's people out here
Facts.
saying the royal family and she's ruined. I don't give a shit. That man is down for his wife.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, you're going to always be okay in my book.
Yeah.
Always.
Like that is the downest dude I've seen in a hot minute, whether
Flat.
they're right or not.
Right.
He had his wife's back.
Yeah.
That is a relationship. That is.
Yeah.
I can sit here and say his mother is probably very proud of him.
Absolutely. And that's
Yes.
what he said. But if you watch the documentary, you could see that it was stuff in the family system that wasn't right. So
Uh-huh.
he's standing up for what's right. So take her out of the equation. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, yes, add her in because, it is his wife, but he's somebody that seemed like he's just doing what's right.
Mhm.
And if you go against the family system, again, the homeostasis, the family doesn't like it.
Yeah,
Right.
That's what it was, concrete.
for sure.
You know what I mean? But she became the scapegoat. And so, yeah, I didn't
There-
like that.
Yeah, I'm down for him.
There- there's always
We
a
ride for you,
scapegoat.
Harry.
Yeah, we out here, Harry. I'm looking at you dead in your eyes.
Pull out for Harry.
Harry, pull up to Vegas and come say what's up to us.
Pull up the level now.
I got a ginger too. What's up, Harry? We down for the ginger.
Down for the ginger.
I mean, but that's the other thing too. And I think I related so much to that.
Mm,
Ryan's a ginger.
yep.
I'm
Come on, Meg.
POC Brown.
She's from Cali.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And we had a very similar situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Not on my side of the family. And I'll
Mhm.
leave it at that, baby. I love you so much. I love you. But
I'm coming home.
he was down for me.
Yeah.
See?
He was down for me. And
He's
I'll-
Prada.
yeah, there's that as a wife or as a significant other in a relationship, when
Right.
somebody's able to stand up for what's right when it comes to you,
Yeah.
they're always going to be okay in my book.
Give
Absolutely.
Ryan his flowers. He's a rider. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank-
Respect.
Love you, Spoonie.
Spoony.
His nickname is Little Spoon.
Okay.
Wink, wink. Listen. My poor husband right now is probably going to be mortified.
He's cringe.
No, he's not though, because
He's
that's our thing, right?
He's like, yeah,
Like,
I am the spoon, bitch.
he is the spoon and I'm his moon, and that's just what it is. Spoony and Moony. It literally said that
A
on
few
my
more of those drinks, you'll be forking tonight.
Right.
too late. Yeah, it's too late for
You
that. But that was on my wedding engraved
sorry.
fucking utensils, the cake cutting stuff and all that. Because here's the thing, I keep going back to this wedding, but like, who's gonna let me do my first dance to Anderson .Paak?
Not a fucking
Right.
soul, but
Thank you.
Spoony.
But Spoony.
And that's what we respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love you, Ryan.
Yeah, and I felt thinking about that. I thought about like the game we played where we put up the shoe of, who's doing what, and that question came up of whose family is more crazy.
Mhm.
I know you probably don't remember. Everybody was faded at that wedding, so I remember
What?
it. But
No.
we both
No.
chose his.
I did not drink a drop.
It was a dry
one.
No, and I asked him after that because he's a very, very private person, and he's like, it just is what it is. And if people know that about me, he's like, you get what you see what you get. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have anything to hide. So
So for
very
you
resilient.
guys, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
So for you guys, what was the oh shit moment when you realized your family was crazy?
When I came out, my mama. No.
No, how about you
Well,
answer that question?
yeah.
You
So-
tried it.
Yeah,
Like, don't
yeah.
come for us.
Yeah.
So-
You're asking
You
these
were the
hard ass
motherfuckers
questions.
in the woods.
Yeah, like we want to
So
hear
for
about the
me-
Minnesota family. What you guys doing out
What
there?
are you guys doing?
So for me, I guess I was probably a teenager. I mean, my sisters and I were very independent and everything, but I don't know. It's for me, it was probably teenagers when I was a teenager, because you start to see the world differently. What was normal as a kid, I'm like, maybe this isn't normal. And like, again, my parents are very isolationist. They don't go anywhere. They don't really do things. And I would see my friends' families like going and doing stuff and going on vacation. I'm like, we're different. And, in adulthood, and I guess after becoming a therapist too, starting to see some of the patterns that I grew up with and just the way my parents are. And it's like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So there's some things going on here that, as a kid and everything, you're not going to be aware of. But I mean, for the most part, I think I started coming to that realization pretty early.
But do you think that was society putting certain expectations on what you feel is normal? Because I know that there's some shit that people will probably look at me thinking that it's not normal, but to me,
No,
it's cool.
Merce's like, no.
no,
Not
For-
that though.
No, we
Not
were-
that though.
no,
We're off.
for us, it was. For me, I guess, no, it wasn't about society at that
Okay.
point, because I was, it was just this realization of differences that I see as far as just simple things about, like, my mom did the best she could, but was very, she just wasn't equipped at points to be a mom to like a teenager and especially to like a kid like me. I mean, I was a good kid. But
Lies.
they're not really lies. They're kind of exaggerations.
Okay. Okay.
But no, it was just stuff like that it's like, okay, there, and again, as I became a therapist and as I studied this stuff more, I'm like, oh, okay, now I kind of understand what these systems are. But for me, it was really kind of early that I realized we were different than other families in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So we, I mean, we were crazy in our own way.
Yeah. But to play devil's advocate for anybody, really, like, sometimes we tend to forget, not speaking for you two, but sometimes we tend to forget that our family members or parents, grandparents, like they're still learning shit too.
Oh, yeah.
And not to say that there's certain behavior that can be excused, because some of that shit is toxic AF and is not appropriate at any
Did
time.
you just say AF?
I know not that I'm trying to clean it up in here. I'm feeling very faded though. So
Peachy.
Yep, it's coming. I can feel the sweat beads. So, but yeah, to play devil's advocate, and I think I say that too, probably because I feel guilty myself of certain shit where I didn't feel like I was equipped. I don't know, like at all.
Yeah.
From the moment my son was born, my mom had cancer, and like the Dream Foundation gave her a cruise to go as like a final thing for her, right? Because her cancer was terminal. Yeah. And the day she went on her cruise was the day I went into labor. 2 weeks early, and I called her like in a panic, like, Mom, I need you, I love you, my water broke, blah blah blah, and it went straight to voicemail, and I was like, okay. And so it wasn't until later, after I had him, she went on the cruise and did her thing and came back. My stepdad was like, I wasn't going to tell your mom that you were in labor, because she would have turned this whole fucking boat around to make sure that she was there with you. And I leaned on her so much because I thought that she was going to be able to teach me everything that I needed to know as a parent, not to know that it was going to be cut super short by like 4 months, and then she was gone. So like going into like becoming a parent, ooh, I could feel my eyes starting to water.
Yeah.
But
but becoming a parent was difficult because I thought I was going to have cheat codes.
Yeah.
I was going to have my mama beside me being able to do this, and I didn't.
Right.
And so I learned the bumpy way of, oh, fuck, this is
The
not,
trial and error.
yeah, it's not easy.
To be honest, though, I think what makes you a good parent is worrying that you did fuck up your kids. Because the parents that aren't worried about it, they're usually the ones that fuck their kids up the worst.
Yeah.
True.
No, I'm very well aware of my part in that as well. And I think my older two kids probably look at me like, damn, my mom's a hippie now. She's just
different.
It is different for like
Different
their younger
stages.
sister and their step siblings, but shit changes when you get older.
Yeah.
When you get medicated.
Stability.
Yes.
I
But
mean,
you also learn a
facts.
lot, from the first kid to the second kid and so on. You learn a hell of a lot,
Yeah. This is true. I mean, Quincy is 8 and Hayden is 20. So
Yeah.
I've learned.
yeah.
I'd be a dipshit if I didn't learn anything. And if I thought
Yeah.
I got it or I knew it,
Mhm.
the whole thing, I'd be dumbass.
Go ahead.
No, but big point though. I mean, because if I've even went to my oldest, who's 22, and apologized for stuff because he had a different version of me. Like it was more trauma in my life, and I had different tools. But I like what Mark said. Like you was concerned, you owned it. You really went to them and was open about it. But I want to answer your question though, Mark, of like
Okay.
when you knew, you were the crazy motherfuckers. And so I will say that I know my family is crazy on both sides, and I got a little crazy too, because I was
Mhm.
born into it. But I will say that there were times where my family would show up though. And no
Mhm.
matter how crazy you were, you still would show up,
Mhm.
like to functions and stuff like that. And so I remember my high school graduation, I went to Catholic school. And I really did all my life
Mhm.
from elementary to college.
I had
did
no
too.
idea.
I did too,
Really?
yeah.
Both
Yeah,
of you guys
elementary to
went
college.
What?
Hell yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Really? So did my ex-husband.
Really?
Yes.
Catholic school skirt and all. Like,
No shit.
yeah, Hail Marys,
Yeah, we didn't have uniforms, but church during school.
Yes.
I have
Mass.
We used to play a game when we were in high school where if we had confession during high school, me and my friends would see who could stay in there the longest.
Don't even.
One of my best friends, I think he holds a record because he was in there for over 2 hours with the priest. And when he came back to class, he goes, "I just started confessing to shit my brothers did."
See,
Continue.
Yeah,
I'm still shook that you guys
let
went to
me-
Catholic
I'm gonna
school.
come back to that. But I remember my high school graduation. Of course, Catholic school, we had nuns. Like it was
Mhm.
serious. And my graduating class was like 23, it was like real small. And my uncle came to the graduation. And of course, people were looking because he had like a cut-off Pistons jersey and like,
Yo, I'm not mad at
like
it.
these crazy dresses.
I'm not
And
mad
he
at
was
it.
like in the church for
Yeah.
the graduation. They were like, "Who the fuck is that?"
Yeah.
I was like, "That's my uncle."
Whose jersey was it?
I don't remember.
Tell me it
Isaiah
was
Thomas.
Rodman.
Or probably
Is-
Isaiah Thomas. I'm
Isaiah
sure.
Thomas, if he's from
Like he
Detroit.
was straight off the court.
Yeah.
Like, what up,
Was
niece?
I think it would have. Was it Grant Hill at that time too? Probably.
It was Grant Hill.
It's gonna be Grant Hill or Thomas.
Yeah.
Well,
I
I
know my
was going to say
basketball.
if it was Rodman's Piston jersey.
That would have been gangster as fuck.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it was definitely
worm.
he'll be like, my niece graduating in this bitch.
Yo, but that's awesome though.
But that's what I'm saying
Yeah.
about show up no matter how you are. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got pictures on the church steps like, wow, this motherfucker. And then my other cousin had bottles of Moet. Like, it was crazy.
about to pop this shit on right on open.
Y'all
At
want
the Catholic
some?
church.
At the Catholic church.
Catholic Church was the shit.
Apparently,
They
Right.
serve alcohol.
yeah, they do. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Oh, sacrament. Not the Grant Hill. I'm not. Listen, that triggers me with the text message that Mark sent me with about Reggie Miller and Larry Bird. But you know what? Did you guys watch that? Speaking of the Detroit Pistons, did you guys watch that documentary, The Last Dance?
Yeah.
Is that
I keep telling my husband I'm going to watch
Oh
it. I
my
missed
God.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen it.
So the Rodman episode is the perfect
Mhm.
is the perfect episode of addressing somebody in your family who is different,
Yeah.
completely different, having different needs,
Mhm.
different ways of how to approach him. That's
Mhm.
that is the perfect. I can't believe you haven't watched it.
Yeah. It's
You know I
pretty
love
good.
documentaries. Okay, I have to.
You have to, but Dennis
have
Rodman was the
to.
perfect one. And an example was that and fix the story for me if I get it wrong, but he would need to take time out from the practices
Okay.
to go to Vegas to let loose, so then
Yeah.
he could concentrate on his
Oh.
basketball game.
So
and
you
then
can come back and be.
yeah, but then this motherfucker's going on like WWE and doing wrestling. Like he was
Yeah.
doing the most, right?
Yeah.
But they allowed him to go, and then when he came back, he was ready to work and
Yeah.
ready to go with the team.
So embracing
Yeah,
the crazy.
or understanding
Yeah.
What
His
Lewinsky's-
normal.
Yeah.
exactly.
His
Yeah.
normal.
And that's a great way of looking at even the relatives that we struggle to deal with because we look at them as crazy, or different, and really getting down to the brass tacks of figuring out how we address them as them, but figure out how do we meet our needs as well. Because them stepping over the boundaries, them stepping over the line is not good for either of us.
No, but I see this is where being a therapist has me fucked up because then I want to meet the person where they're at.
Right.
If they're
Mhm.
if they're tap dancing on my boundaries, fuck it. That's not a thing. But if they're not and people are I don't know, like I would know how to go about that. I
Yeah,
guess I
because
can
you
say.
understand where they are.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah.
Well, we
You gotta
doing
watch
final
that.
thoughts? I'm definitely gonna.
You have to
Damn.
because it's too good.
What's the craziest shit though you've ever seen at a family reunion?
Yo, I'm not saying.
No,
I'll tell you the
I ain't no snitch.
Yeah, like you got me. I'm gonna snitch on myself because I wasn't raised that way.
No, fam.
I'll tell you this. I remember going to New Mexico. Okay, I got the best story.
Okay.
Now
okay,
it came to me.
okay.
Okay. This is after this conversation, I need you guys to understand that I'm finding out that I'm the crazy one in the family. So
Shocker.
yeah. Okay. So
No way.
my mom's side of the family is having a family reunion in Santa Fe, New Mexico, my native side, right?
Okay.
My mom is super sick at the time. I'm living in Vegas. I just moved here, so I was 17, 18 years old. Family reunion. My cousin's living here. We were doing the most, smoking weed, doing all of it. We go to this family reunion. I see my mom that I haven't seen in like a few months. So excited. She's with my auntie. We go to a place to eat. This lady comes up the table. Is like, hey, you know, what can I get you? And my mom's like, oh, I want this, but I don't want any, whatever the side, like not celery, but whatever. I'll say celery.
Okay.
Does the dish have celery on it? The lady's like, no. My mom was like, okay, just making sure I don't want any of it on there. The lady literally made a cat sound and was like, meow.
What?
So I want you guys to imagine
Mhm.
18-year-old Casey seeing this shit of a person disrespecting my sick mother that I haven't seen in a long ass time.
Oh,
So,
San Bernardino.
yep. So I said, bitch, you want to try that shit again?
Mhm.
Do you want to address her with some fucking respect? You're not going to talk to my mom like that. And my poor mom, baby. And I never flashed like that in front of my mom. I
Right.
never cussed like that. And it just all came out. I said, you got me fucked up if you think you're going to talk to her like that. Your little fucking waitress job in the stupid fucking city. Man, fuck you. You're looking at him whip your ass in this fucking alley back here.
Oh.
My cousin's like, what's up, cut? My cousin's from Long Beach.
Oh, shit.
My cousin's from
What's
Long
up
Beach.
now, cuz?
Yeah, she's like, what's up, cuz? What you gonna do? So then this lady's like, no, it's not that, you know, sorry, blah, blah, blah. Finished taking the orders. And my aunt like folded the menu and she was like, fuck, they're about to spit in my fucking food.
Just get out of there.
Yeah, but like,
I'll have the water.
but that was one of the craziest things I ever did at a family reunion was I just flashed. And that was the reunion my mom found all my tattoos and she was crying because I was pierced up and I was out of control for her. But in my heart, I feel like her seeing me ride for her like that, she's never seen that side. I've always been very respectful and not meek, but I'm not going to do that in
But
front of my mom.
respectful.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But this chick,
yeah.
she could have caught
She
all that
pushed
smoke.
it.
Yeah. So she stirred the
Sharice's door
food and I'm
coming,
just
bitch.
like in her face, like, bitch, look at me when I'm talking to you because, oh. So that's what I got. Sorry, guys. Sorry if that was long-winded, but
No,
No, that was a good story.
That's a good story.
yeah,
yeah.
shit. I love telling that story because then it gets me hype again. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sweating
What's up
again.
now, bitch?
Yeah.
Really?
Look at me now. What about you guys? Anything crazy? No.
I can't
Last
tell.
words. Okay.
They gonna
You want to go to me? Or
I
you
have
got-
no story. I
That's
can't
safe.
tell.
No, yo, I
They're gonna
respect
pull
it.
up on me in Detroit.
Yeah.
So
No.
I can't believe
We
it.
gotta be able to show your face in your city. I respect it.
So we
That's why I
never
took off
actually
No
myself.
fly zone. Let me show
we never actually got to do a lot of family reunions. But I do remember we went to the East Coast one Christmas, and that was the longest road trip I have ever fucking been on in my life. My sisters would probably tell you the same thing, and that was the year Whitney Houston's song from The Bodyguard.
Oh, I Was
the
Love You?
number one hit. Yeah, so that I must have
I'm
heard
Every
that
Woman.
song. No. Yeah, that one. And so I must have heard that going there and back as we drove from Minnesota
One
to
tape.
Connecticut
One cassette tape. ass.
7,467 times. Okay.
Who was playing DJ in the car?
It didn't matter it didn't even matter what station you turned
It was
it
a
to.
single
It
cassette.
was like on every fucking station, right?
in a Volkswagen.
So, I mean, this isn't as good as your story. I'll tell you that right now. But I remember. So we went to Christmas dinner at my dad's parents' house, and my dad is Italian, and so anybody who's had an Italian feast, it's like 7 courses, right?
Mm.
Now my brother doesn't, or at least at the time, did not like pasta sauce or marinara sauce, and I remember. Like my grandmother served him something and he didn't want the sauce and I guess she washed the sauce off the noodles, but she's in the kitchen swearing in Italian as she's washing the noodles off. Motherfucker.
That motherfucker wouldn't get no wash noodles from my ass. Wait.
Marinara.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
But that's also the time that's also probably one of the few times that I learned that you never answer any of their questions when they're because my grandmother and my great aunt are standing together. They're like, Marco, whose strudel you like better?
Not the strudel.
I'm like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
They're like, you played yourself. You played yourself.
If they were one-on-one, you could tell them yours
Yeah.
is the best. If they're together, they're like, who's you like better? I'm like,
The accent.
yeah, right. Oh, shit.
All right, guys. So final thoughts on gentle parenting or
crazy relative.
crazy relatives?
Well, for me, I think, we all have crazy relatives or we are the crazy relatives. But to be fair, crazy is relative.
Ooh,
Mm.
jeez.
Damn.
Okay. Should we
Shit.
go with
Well, you want me to combine that?
yeah.
The fuck? To piggyback after what you all said, grace sometimes though, and meeting people where they are if you
Mhm.
are going to continue your relationship and understanding the person a little bit more and then setting firm boundaries. That is okay, especially now thinking about with the holidays coming up.
Yeah.
If you don't want to entertain some shit, you don't have to.
Oh,
And so just remove titles from the person and go off the action. And if you don't like that, then cut it.
damn. Mic drop.
Boom.
Mic drop right there.
Boom.
I would say my closing thing, I cannot top either one of you with that. I would say stick to the boundaries. But if you're the one that is the crazy one,
Mm-hmm.
I already hear Nars Barkley like, dun, dun, dun. I remember when I lost my mind. That's me. So embrace it
Yeah.
if it's you.
Yeah.
And people are going to look at you. You might be considered the crazy one because you set boundaries and
Ooh.
because
And that's
you
true,
go so
too.
hard.
Oh,
And I'm that one. So
And that's
Yeah,
very
speak
true.
on it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so
that
that's
was
what
good
it is.
shit.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. So
Yeah.
that's all I got. So
All right. Well,
Where can I send the hate mail? Can you?
so send the hate mail to the professors
That-
at the professors podcast at yahoo.com.
that's going to be in our evaluations, the hate mail from the students. The listeners.
Oh, I didn't
so
even
much.
tell you the student evaluations. Someone told me the class would be better if I talked less.
We should do that next time.
PowerPoint only.
Oh, we definitely should do that
Yeah,
next time.
Next time. All right. So
Okay,
where
how
can they
I
find us?
Okay, so they can find us on Apple, Spotify, or pretty much any platform where you download podcasts. We are on YouTube. And you can reach us at the Professors Podcast at yahoo.com. Thank you again to everybody who keeps listening.
Mhm.
Thank you, Scott at Level 9 Studios, for doing an outstanding job of making us sound good, look good. And
Did he?
Yep. All right, guys. Don't
Go ahead and
mess with
drop
my
it.
money and then don't mess with my D, please.
boom.
Bitch.